why would they might not approve you at studio level? So there's lots of different possibilities. So for example, like I've worked on productions before where during the whole casting process, the filmmaking team and the studio were at odds with our taste. You know, we liked it one way. We liked certain types of actors for certain types of things, and they had a completely different taste for different types of actors and different types of things. So, you know, I could think of a particular production, I'm not going to tell you which one, but it was a pretty big one where we had this kind of thing all the time. And, you know, we just did not agree with the taste in actors of the filmmaking team. And so it was a battle on every part that they came to us for approval on. So some of them, and then so because it was a battle on all, we had to choose our battles. Which ones do we want to argue with them about, and which ones are we going to give them a gimme? You know, just cast who you want. So it became like, well, which are the roles that are important to us to get the kind of actor we're looking for in that role versus somebody else. Now, just because our taste was different from their taste, it didn't make it better, didn't make theirs better, didn't make ours worse, didn't make theirs worse. It was just different. Okay. And so, you know, and you're not going to know any of that, nor do you need to know any of that. And the reason why I'm even telling you this is because sometimes, because you don't know all the various different levels of studio interactions and politics and personality managing and all that kind of stuff, because you have no knowledge of that personally, and that's a good thing. What happens is you will tend to create a story in your head of, they just didn't think I was good enough, right? You'll assign that event a meaning and allow yourself to beat yourself up because of it. And so I want you to understand that the scenario that I just described is one of many different reasons why you might not have gotten the part, even at that higher level. And it had zero to do with you. Zero. The big goose egg. Please understand that. You know, so other reasons why you might not have gotten it. So it's possible that the whole time they were casting, they had an offer out to a name. And they didn't think they were going to get one. It was kind of like a Hail Mary pass offer. And so the casting director was casting, pinning, putting people on Avail just in case, thinking they were going to cast somebody, trying to get approval. And then boom, the star name said yes. Did that have anything to do with you? Nope. Zero to do with you. Okay, so what are some other reasons why that might happen? I mean, yes, it could be that the studio just didn't approve you because, like I said, you know, they just didn't see it as a fit. You know, you might have like, I remember when I first started at HBO, I was there for 3 regimes. Okay, the first regime I was there for, the first head of the pictures, the films department, he was a micromanager, and he would literally come in our office and watch casting tapes of day player auditions with us. The head of the studio would lay down on our couch and watch people say, "Can I take your order, sir?" and weigh in on it, you know, because he was a micromanager, and it was like, he just liked to do that. So you may have some rando weighing at the studio, weighing in on your audition that has no sense of anything, but just wants to exert their power and control. Okay, so did that have anything to do with you? Zero to do with you. So my point in telling you, I've now given you 3 scenarios that are extremely common that have zero to do with you, is that most of the time at that level, it has zero to do with you, because they're not going to, the casting team and the filmmaking team is not going to ask for studio approval on someone who sucks. Okay, or someone who's not right, or someone who they don't think can handle the part. They're only going to put you forward in front of the studio and say, "We'd like to cast this actor, please. Can we have your sign off?" If they feel confident in you, they're excited about you, and you know, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 other actors that they put forth too, because, you know, another reason they might do this is that, you know, let's say they ask for studio approval on 2 or 3 actors because, you know, there's 3 that they really love and they can't, you know, they can't decide, or 2 of the 3 favorites are also auditioning for something else and testing for another show. So they're hedging their bets, trying to make sure they don't put all their eggs in your basket. And then, you know, if the studio says no, they have nobody to fall back on. So there's a ton of different scenarios here. and none of them have to do with you. Okay, so now you have that knowledge and you know why that might be happening. You know it has nothing to do with you, and you can now let that go. And not only let that go, but now you can celebrate the fact that you got that far. That's a good thing. That means you're now probably on the casting director's shortlist for other projects in the future. You're on the radar of the studio. So, you know, the manager, VP, director of casting or whatever knows who you are, right? And they have not just that project that they're managing, but dozens and dozens of others. And that when they see you get brought forth again, it's just another touch point, another piece of familiarity, another lens that they look at you with and go, oh yeah, that was that person that was, you know, that we signed off on or didn't sign off on for whatever reason for that other project, but I liked that person, right? So these are all reasons to celebrate. And I'm going to constantly bang you over the head with reasons to celebrate because I'm trying to counteract you banging yourself over the head with self-sabotaging opportunities at every moment. Does that make sense? If so, give me a hell yeah in the chat. Give me a fire emoji if that makes sense.